Who of you has a job? And who of you sometimes complains about his job? The bad coffee from the machine, the boring office space, the colleague that didn't do what you asked for, or the boss that is pushing you for a deadline, or maybe complaining customer. Everybody is sometimes fed up with his work, right? Now imagine that, just like Vincent, you don't have a job. That you don't have the opportunity to develop yourself. That you don't have colleagues to complain about. That you've been told over and over again that you just don't fit in. That you don't have the ability and the opportunity to develop yourself as an individual, as a professional, to earn your own money, to realize your dreams. Because that is why you have a job, isn't it? So why is having work so important anyway? For you, for Vincent, for me, for all of us here. Work actually plays a crucial role in our lives. I mean, most of us spend a great deal of our life working. And it's with good reason that the question, what do you do for a living, is probably one of the most asked questions at a party, as an introduction of a conversation. Work gives people self-esteem, sense of direction, and purpose. It makes people feel useful. The opportunity to become part of a group or maybe even a community. Would you be able to do without all these things, especially when you can work and when you want to work? I know I couldn't. Unfortunately, for a lot of people like Vincent, it's not easy to find a job where they can put their talents to work. October 2014, I became an entrepreneur after having worked as a banker for over 15 years. But not just an entrepreneur. I became a social entrepreneur. I shifted from a profit focus to a human focus. Started doing what I think is truly important: to create a workplace where talents are unleashed and can flourish. 6 months earlier, I was having lunch with one of my former banking clients, Paul. And Paul told me about this extraordinary company that he founded in 2007. A social enterprise where the primary goal is to unleash the talent of people that don't fit in. And his story really touched me and inspired me. And I decided that I wanted to become a part of what he was doing. Together, we embarked on an extraordinary journey to prove that it is possible to run a profitable company by unleashing the talent of people that don't fit in. Today, I would like to share with you some of the lessons that I learned during this extraordinary journey. On one of my first days in my new company, I met Vincent, one of my new colleagues. And Vincent told me that he had numerous jobs before working at our company. However, never longer than 1 year. Again and again, after a year, his contract would be terminated, and he would be told he didn't really fit in. After about 30 job interviews, Vincent applied at our company. He entered the room and thought this will probably end up in a disaster again. To his own surprise, he was offered a job. His immediate response was, It's not a good idea to hire me. Usually it doesn't work out. That's not really a good wrap-up of a job interview, is it, right? It took some convincing. Vincent started at the company, developed himself. His talent was found, discovered. 10 years later, he's still working at the company and is a highly valued employee. I asked Vincent, why did it work this time? It didn't need much time for him to answer my question. He said, because the workplace has been crafted around me and not the other way around. They actually listen to what I need to be able to do my job. It's clear what is expected of me. Help is offered when needed. And on top of that, I get to learn and push my boundaries. In other words, they actually listen to what I need to be able to do my job. I thought about what he just told me and couldn't help myself. Isn't this something that should be normal? That each employer should offer to his employees? That someone is allowed to feel him or herself at the workplace? Be able to develop himself? That a manager is actually interested to find out what your talent is, to unleash that, to help you? Vincent continued to explain what the effects were of this approach to him as an individual. And he told me, I have grown tremendously as an individual. Where in the beginning I was shy, I'm now much more outgoing. And on top of that, I've pushed my boundaries so much further than I'd ever thought possible. Wow, I thought. All this after having made some simple adjustments to his workplace. 10 years ago, I was in a totally different workplace. As said, working as a banker, and at that time, as a marketing manager. At the time, I was afraid. Afraid that my talent would not be recognized anymore. In March 2010, I was diagnosed with multiple sclerosis, MS. My world fell apart. I didn't know what my future would look like, since the disease is incurable and the course totally unpredictable. One of the first questions I remember that popped up in my head, will I still be able to work? Will I still be able to generate my own income, to realize my own dreams? One of my biggest fears was the label that I expected people to give me. MS patient, unfit to work. It actually took quite some time for me to accept this new situation and to recognize my own talent, to recognize what I needed to be able to do what I'm good at, what my workplace had to look like. And that's one of the major reasons I decided to become a social entrepreneur. So back to our company. In our company, we only employ people that are loyal, passionate about their work, and always aim for a 110% result. Now that sounds like the ideal employees, right? So what if I told you that 70% of the people that work in our company has autism? And due to their autism, they have high analytical skills, strong eye for detail, and are able to stay focused over long periods of time. The jobs they do as content editors, data analysts, or auditors for digital accessibilities all require the unique skill set that they possess. So apart from the fact that they have very useful skills for the jobs that they do, why hire people with autism, you might ask? Because we found out that a staggering 54% of the population that can work with autism is unemployed. 54%. 1 out of 2. It frustrated me that such a big group is unemployed, while the unemployment rate in the Netherlands is currently about 4%, even after COVID-19. What also frustrated me is that so many people like Vincent were not seen, that their talent was not recognized because they were different, and that their talent was not put to use. The exact same thing I had been afraid of in 2010 after being diagnosed with MS. I strongly believe that we can unleash talent at the workplace by looking and asking each individual, and discovering what their unique talent is, listening to them, what they need from their workplace to be able to do what they're good at, make the necessary adjustments, and craft the workplace around the individual and not the other way around, as we do so many times. We and a dozen other social enterprises have already proven that it is possible to run a profitable company by employing people with autism or other groups. We've even been nominated as a Gazelle fast-growing company in 2019, which is, of course, a huge compliment for me as an entrepreneur and for our team. The fact is, however, that you will understand that we are not going to solve this huge unemployment ratio, this problem, alone. Albert Einstein once said, "If you judge a fish by its ability to climb a tree, it will live its whole life believing that it's stupid." I see the effects of our approach on a daily basis, and I see what it means to Vincent and his colleagues. Together, we can ensure that so many more people will find meaningful jobs if we recognize their talent and craft the workplace around them. Let's start asking people what they need to be able to do what they're good at. Thank you very much.